So now we're finally getting into Blaze's story. And honestly, Blaze is the best character in the game. In fact, I would even go far as to say that she's better than Tails in the classic era. Because the thing about Tails was, you got a sense of freedom by flying everywhere, but Blaze, her air trick sends her so upwards, and she keeps her momentum going. She keeps moving fast while she's soaring through the air with her tricks. So you still feel like you get an even greater sense of freedom when you're flying around with Blaze. Like, not actually flying, but I don't know. And like, Tails accelerates really slowly upwards when he flies, and he can only fly for a limited amount of time. Like, she stays in the air a lot longer, I think. One of the weird things is that Blaze's story has different level order from Sonic's. And this is unfortunately reflected in the time attack, because in the time attack, it says Zone 1, Zone 2, etc. It doesn't actually tell you the name of the level they're going to go through. So you've got to memorize 2 different level orders if you want to know what you're going to be picking in a time attack. I mean, there is a symbol in a circle, but still, it's not, I don't know. The level layouts have slightly changed with Blaze. Like, I noticed there was some different enemy placement. Like, there's one part of Night Carnival where it's got a really cheap enemy placement in an area where you summon platforms by hitting a switch, and you're rushed to constantly hit the switches. You're rushed to constantly hit the platforms as quickly as possible to get up there, but because of the purple bat enemy placed there, it's guaranteed to knock you off the platforms, and so you'll have to kill it and then try to jump onto all the platforms again. But I do like it when one of those puzzles happen, where it like brings you upwards to a ceiling and you gotta jump off it. Like, I especially love the one where it brings you up to a ceiling and you gotta jump off it onto platforms that you create with switches. And then you gotta jump off them and get back to the other. You gotta jump back onto the rising green thing. Like, I really like that puzzle that I just described, because it feels more like Sonic 2 for the Master System type challenge, where it's fair and fun and like satisfying. Like, it requires you thinking intelligently rather than just trial and error, quick reflexes. I actually died to this twice as Blaze in my life, even though I was boosting. But yeah, as you can see, Blaze is definitely the superior character to Sonic. I mean, she is a slower version of Sonic. Her boost isn't nearly as satisfying because it doesn't leave nearly as far of a trail behind her, and she doesn't boost as fast. Thankfully, you can just go left and it respawns. One of the things that I like about Blaze is that if you hold R in the air, she does a hover, which is much more useful than Sonic's homing attack or air dash. Because her hover is like an air dash, but it stays as long as you hold down the R button. Unfortunately, it will gradually go down, and it goes down pretty heavy. So you can only really take advantage of it. Like, you can't really use it to skip platforming that well. It's nothing like Silver's hover in 06, for example. Like, I think you can keep doing it forever. I haven't tried hovering from the top of a level and going all the way down to the bottom yet. But you go down really heavy with it. But yeah, Rush Adventure has a lot more platforming in it, and so it really taught me to appreciate Blaze's hover. And when you get to Deadline with Blaze, her hover becomes really useful because even if you screw up with the rockets, then you could just use the hover to get back to where you were instead of dying. Sometimes, anyways. But the biggest thing about Blaze is her tricks. Not only can she go so much higher than Sonic can, and so much farther than him, but she has diagonal air tricks. Like, Sonic can only go up and left and right. Like, he doesn't even have a downwards air trick anymore. Like in the Advanced series, if you held down and did a trick, then he would do a bounce attack. which was kind of lame and pointless, and I think they realized that by removing the downward air trick for Sonic. Now, when you're holding down, he just does a forward air trick. Which is good, because I'd rather do a forward air trick than do a down air trick. When the lights turn off in this level, it's supposed to be a signal to your brain that it's time for platforming. But the problem is that this level, and levels in Rush in general, have so many bottomless pits that you're not really going to figure out what the lights being off is telling you until someone tells you what it means. It is good that they at least try to have a visual indicator, though. But yeah, like, I liked this level more when I played it for the second time. Not just because I was playing it as Blaze, because when I played Sonic's Story again for this, I liked all the levels. It's just that, like, I didn't die at all in Act 1 as Blaze. And I died multiple times as Blaze in Act 2. And that was because, on my first playthrough, even by Blaze, I still didn't realize I was supposed to crouch on the springs for a long enough time, and only then would they send me high enough. And again, there's a Blaze sign in the background. Like, okay. That cutscene that we saw before was kind of weird because why was Blaze brought to this dimension in the first place? It doesn't really properly explain that. Like, did Eggman bring her there by accident? And if so, then how did he... Why didn't she appear with him? Why was she separated from him? I mean, it makes about as much sense as the characters getting separated from each other in the time portals in 06. Like, I don't get that. See? That enemy right there. If I hadn't been invincible... And, well, I still fell down there because I screwed up the platforming, but that enemy is not there in Sonic's Story. So, I guess that's part of a justification as to why I'm showing off all of Blaze's levels and bosses, even though it's not really that different aside from her gameplay. Like, there's very slight changes in the levels. The boss fights are identical, although they have a different aesthetic because you're fighting a different person. But yeah, thankfully I do have a lot to say. Like, I'm actually kind of glad this happened because, like, the Blaze's Story gives me the opportunity to talk about stuff that I haven't talked about yet. Like, I was going on about the tricks earlier. I honestly think that tricks looked cooler in the advanced games. Like, I think this is part of the poses that the advanced Sonic does. And it's also part of the fact that I think that the sprites in the Advanced series look better than the low-res polygons here. Like, the upward trick with Sonic looks kind of lame in this game, because he just thrusts himself upwards. But, see what I mean? You go so much higher up with Blaze that you're able to get to a higher route that you weren't able to with Sonic. But anyways, I mean, I like the way all of Blaze's tricks look, but I don't know why Sonic does a ballerina twirl for his backwards trick like Cream did. I think it looked cooler when he did the humming top kick that he did as a forwards air trick backwards, because now he just does a kick. And I honestly think that his humming top attack looked cooler. Why were you suspecting you were in another world in the first place? I mean, if she thought... That is such a badass line. Like, she is such a badass in this game. It's amazing how much that theme fits this specific boss fight. I'm not going to use this theme for every boss fight though, but this is basically a Carnival boss fight, and Knuckles Chaotix had a Carnival boss fight. So, it works. I really wish they had used this theme instead. Blaze's levels have a very slight remix to them in their themes. Like, Blaze's levels don't sound exactly the same music-wise as Sonic's does, but personally I can't really tell the difference. I'm not going to be showing all of them off. Instead, I'm going to be showing off the music that I wish that the game did play, because I feel like it suits the context better. This is so badass! Like, this is so much more badass than Sonic, where he just goes, "Eggman, wait!" and he just runs after him and he flies away. With Blaze, she does a spinning fire kick at him and it's so awesome. Like, she upstages Sonic so much in this game. And a lot of the times, new characters in Sonic games will do that, but it's not annoying here because she's sort of the underdog in this game. Like, the entire story shoves this stupid message down her throat that she spends the entire game proving wrong. And you really feel like she's the audience surrogate. She's the only one relatable in the whole game. Blaze echoes my sentiments exactly. I don't get this. Like, why is she so scared and untrusting of people? Again, she's a princess of the Soul Dimension. Why would she be like this? It makes more sense for Tails to be like this because he was bullied when he was a kid. Well, he's a kid now. When he was younger. But yeah, Cream meets Blaze and she just walks up to her, even though she doesn't know her, and immediately decides, I'm gonna ask her to be my friend. Do people actually do that in real life? Like, I don't know. Like, what kind of social skills does this girl have? Like, just walk up to some teenage girl you've never seen before and ask, would you like to be friends? I don't know. I like how Vanilla likes tea. Like, I like tea. And it suits her personality well. Helps make her more sympathetic. Oh god. This is going to be the first of many times when people are like, you should ask Sonic for help. Like, never mind that you're the guardian of the Soul Emeralds and it's your responsibility to keep the Soul Emeralds safe, which makes me wonder how she lost them in the first place. But it doesn't make sense because she's like Knuckles, only female. She's so similar to Knuckles in SA2. Why are people talking like this to her and not Knuckles? I mean, she's the guardian of multiple emeralds, and she's a princess of a different dimension. But other than that, she's essentially SA2 Knuckles all over again. So, like, the only real difference is their gender. And I really hate people who pull a sexism card. Like, it's like, you're missing the point of a video game, and games don't generally have good stories anyway, so, like, you're kind of focusing on the wrong things there. But even I gotta admit that there's some unfortunate implications in having the first strong female character having an anti-independence message shoved down her throat the entire game. Even though she shows the entire game that she doesn't need it, that she is awesome all on her own. Like, I don't know. I like that Cream is there being her friend, but everyone telling her to ask Sonic for help just feels like they're worshipping him. I don't really like it all that much.